I'm here with Coach Wag. He's the head coach of the volunteer football team.
Go Falcons.
And we was wondering, what's your expectations of the players this season?
Well, the expectation is to learn how to compete and be competitive in all phases of the game, starting with your attitude, starting with loving the brother, and understanding that sacrifice is the best thing for you to understand that there's nothing better than being counted on as a teammate.
100% agree. What's your expectations going into the season, team-wise? How excited are you?
Well, if I wasn't excited, I wouldn't be living every day. I believe that, it's a lot better than being buried 6 feet down. So I get to coach football. I get to be part of volunteer again, and my expectation for me being here is to let y'all understand that I'm here for you guys and for this community. So.
Yeah. How do you feel about the coaching staff this season? I know we got a lot of hate last year on them, and how do you think you're going to do? What are you going to do to change that?
Well, the change is this: is everybody hates everybody when you're losing, and let's call it how it is. But I feel like sometimes some men need to be empowered and not be like somebody don't need to put their thumb on them. We all want to empower each other. I think great leaders use selfless service to sacrifice to make better men. If we're not making better men with one another, then we're not doing anything for society. So that's how we got to do it.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know how to word this. Do you think we're gonna make playoffs this year? Is that what's your hope to make this season?
My hope is to teach you guys how to be successful and competitive. That's the very first step, and you guys will understand that in spring. The second step of it is to understand how to deal with success. Most teams that have never had success, there's always the quick rise and quick fall. Our goal is to build upon one another in each season. This season here is honestly to compete. If we make the playoffs, that is great, and we will compete in that aspect as well.
100% agree. How excited are you to be finally a head coach of a school?
Well, it's still really surreal to me. I've had a lot of people doubt me. Okay, volunteer's not going to win. And I look at them okay, there's a lot of things that people doubted. A lot of people doubted, I'll call it Einstein himself. They thought he was crazy. Maybe I'm not saying I'm Einstein, but I look at it like this: is I believe I can make kids play better than they ever thought they could play because I'm going to love every single one of them like they're my sons. And that's the difference between me and every other coach. I'm going to empower every kid, and everybody's going to have a role because that's what we're supposed to do as men.
Yep. What's your plan on the culture-wise of this program?
The culture part of it is to actually empower each other to believe in one another. Belief is the huge aspect of it. For instance, the weight room is to change the mindset of being mentally tough and physically tough. Look good, feel good, play good. The Dion effect, right? And if you are not performing at your best, it's okay because there's another down. It's mental toughness is how you're going to respond to something, and that's part of our culture. Is how we're going to respond. It's event plus response equals the outcome.
Yes, sir. So. I agree with that. Do any of y'all have any questions?
I have a question. How would you describe your coaching style?
My coaching style. Well, I can go from the smart answer here. I think I'm the swagged out the best ever. So I think I wear a gold chain better than most. When I'm actually clean kept and bearded all nice. I know it ain't really nice now. I look like a homeless person. It's okay. But coaching wise, I don't dance unless there's music. I make sure the kid comes first. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure the kid is in position to make a play. Now, whether the outcome is for them to make a tackle or to make a block or to score a touchdown, it is up to the kid. It's like I tell them all the time. Everybody has players on the team. But that ain't what we strive to be. We strive to be playmakers. There's a difference between players and playmakers. Everybody can put on a jersey. Are you willing to make a play?
And then I guess coming off of these, 2 rough seasons, 0-10, and then 0-10 again, and then before that 1-10. Does that bother you at all, coming into this season with you being the coach, those past like bad seasons?
No, it don't bother me at all because I think that the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror for a reason. I always look forward to things. They know that they may have had a rough season, but if I told you guys to come do our MTV crib situation here at Volunteer High School, you guys walk through the field house as soon as I'm done with it, you guys would not leave.
Yeah.
And I expect that from this camera crew. I expect that from the classrooms. I expect that from the students, because I'm going to love you just as much as I love the athletes. Because you're the same kids to be out there, and you're the same fans to be out there, to understand that you guys want to win just as bad as the team does. And as soon as that happens, we're going to cultivate this entire community, and that's what's going to be great. We're going to do this thing together because we belong here. You guys do.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. Let's see. You have any like doubts on like anything like this season? Any doubts that you're scared of or anything like that?
To be 100% honest with you, it's how we're going to respond to success. Are we going to have the big head effect that we won a few ball games, or are we going to learn from every little mistake that we made? And that to me as a man is more important than anything. And as a coach, it's how we respond to winning, how we respond to losing. Like, that response is so critical. It scares you because it can be the up and down. You can win 10 games, and I've been there. And then how do we respond to something? You compete, and then something goes wrong. It's like having a stick thrown in your spokes on a bicycle.
Yeah.
It's not very fun. Or you can have the kids that say, hey, we don't care. We're going to do whatever coach asks us to do. I may not like playing this position, but I love playing for my brother. And we're going to put the team first. There's nothing like being counted on from somebody that wears the same color jersey as you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the ultimate sacrifice.
And
So,
you haven't been here in a while, so how does it feel to be playing Cherokee again?
well, I know Cherokee is a very big deal here, and I respect Cherokee. I think the Coach Hensley and them, they do a great job down there. To me, to be 100% honest with you, the football field is 120 yards long, and it's 52 and a third wide. It hasn't changed since 1908. It's another game. It means more because they're right down the road. But last time I checked, Cherokee has to come to 11W at some point. We travel that road. That's the only thing shared between us. We have a pals, they have a pals. There it is.
And then I guess that coming from Jeff County, there were some big time like players there, like getting to colleges. I think one of the, not like applaud, but just like the kids after like they get out of school, like what's gonna happen. And I feel like coming from that Jeff County, that you have some connections, I guess you'd say. Now, will that carry over to volunteer and like try to help kids get out of the
Yes,
go to college?
most definitely. We've had 9 schools stop by since I've been here. So, and it's just part of it. And I'm not afraid to let our juniors and seniors or whatever get recruited. And if we have a hot commodity kid come in, or if we have a kid that's really performing well, they deserve the opportunity to get talked to as well. But the recruiting process is something that I do bring to the school that most schools don't have. And they can have a recruit come in, or have a college recruiter come in and say, hey, we want to see this kid, so that's great. But I will say, hey, these kids can probably play ball. This kid needs more development, but it is not my place to say this kid cannot do this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I believe in all kids getting opportunity. Like, if I told you that I was the greatest thing walking volunteer high school history, I'd be lying to you. I didn't really find myself until my sophomore year in college and being developed, and that college really developed me mentally, and then also physically, my body, in the weight room and whatnot. But here, I hope to bring that aspect here where kids see college recruiters and they realize that they have opportunity to go play.
Do you have any more questions?
Probably the last question we have for you. Do you remember the first time you wanted to become a coach?
Yes. I remember the first time I wanted to become a coach is when you get cut by the biggest dream you ever have, which was playing in the league on a practice squad. And they say that you're too old, and you're 28 years old, and you get cut. So you get cut, and they look at you and they're like, hey, well, you're just old. We're going to take this 22-year-old kid. The very first time that I wanted to become a coach was getting into it. I had a buddy asked me, he said, hey, why don't you ever come coach football? I said, man, I don't know about that. I don't know if I want to coach football. I'd just rather just hang out and just be a fan or whatever. And I was in the dumps. And I was able to start coaching high school football at a serious level in 6A in Tennessee at Rossby High School. And watching a kid that was probably 5'8", 150 pounds, make a tackle on special teams. I was like, if that kid can do it, I can coach football. Well, that is short story, okay? And not to make it super long, is that kid ended up being named Gino Avros. He ended up pitching for Austin Peay. He also played as our quarterback. He did everything that was right. I never coached him, but watching the way he worked is why my work ethic was like that. He busted his butt to get where he needed to be. He was a really good football player, great baseball player. His work ethic was awesome. And watching kids that have a great work ethic let me know that I had an opportunity to share the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was always in the classroom. He was never skipping class. He was talking to the right girl or the right teacher or whatever it is. He never, ever hung around losers. He separated himself from everybody else. He was just one of those kids that I aspired, if I ever had any son or my daughters, to be like, because they were just like so disciplined, maybe, or maybe they were like, I've just never seen kids like that. And that's what really lit my fire. I was like, if I can have a handful of kids like that, not every kid's going to be like that, but his mold is what cultivated our football team. And that's why we did what we did. We were really successful. Little 5'8" kid.
Well, I appreciate you coming in here with us and letting us interview you.
Yep.